Hey everyone, happy Wednesday. Thanks for tuning in to this YouTube live. I'm Waller's Wallet, and today in the community tab, I asked people if they wanted my predictions for 2019, and I was actually pretty shocked. Most of you who answered did want to see my predictions, so let's go ahead and I'll get into those. As well, today when I got home, I looked in the mailbox, and actually what I would consider it to be a pretty big win for the Hilton Aspire card that I now have. And as always, I'll be answering your questions towards the end of this video. So let's first start off with my Hilton Aspire win. So about 6 weeks ago, I upgraded my Hilton Ascend card to the Hilton Aspire card for the 150,000 point offer, and it was no hard pull. So to me, it was like a no-brainer because it's getting a little bit harder out there. For 150,000 points, no hard pull was fantastic. Now, if you don't know, this card comes with a $450 annual fee, and I felt this was worth it, especially for no hard pull. But today, I come home to a letter from American Express saying that they're going to keep my annual fee the same as it was for my Hilton Ascend card. And they told me to look at the card number agreement, and sure enough, I log on to American Express, and it says my annual fee is not $450, but only $95. Now, the way the letter reads to me is that it looks like that I'm actually going to keep a $95 annual fee permanently, but it does say they can adjust it later on. So I'm wondering if it's going to be a short-term $95 fee, but I'm hoping that it stays $95 fee. If not, if it does, I will be planning to keep this. So in the name of science, I have upgraded my wife's card for the Hilton Ascend to the Hilton Aspire card as well to see if this works for her. If there does, I'll see if there's maybe a way that can be doing that. But what I did do is I actually upgraded my card shortly after the annual fee posted and not beforehand. So I'm curious if that had something to do with it. We did just recently pay my wife's annual fee on her Hilton Ascend card. So I'll see if that transpires also to the Hilton Aspire card to making sure to see if the fee stays at $95 annual $95 annual fee. Now, the reason I think this could come in handy in the future, 150,000 Hilton points is a no-brainer for someone who stays at Hilton. But Hilton has the potential. There's rumors going around. I know it's happened a couple times, but I think Doctor of Credit actually reported the other day that you might be able to start utilizing your Hilton points over at Amazon at half a cent per point. So this 150,000 point bonus would be worth $750 worth of Amazon, which Amazon sells third-party gift cards to different travel sites such as Airbnb. I believe they even do Southwest. Also, you can cash them out for Visa gift cards. You do need to pay the activation fee, but it's basically getting you cash. Plus, since I just upgraded my wife's card, checked with American Express, the system should update the system in a couple hours. I'm going to be able to triple dip that airline credit. So I'm going to pay basically one annual fee, but I'm going to get $750 in airline credit. So that is a fantastic benefit, and I'm very happy to see that. So you know what? Now let's move on to my predictions for 2019. Now, I have a lot of predictions, but I'm going to give you my top 5, I think, predictions that we're going to see in 2019. Starting with prediction number 1, I think we're going to see Barclays re-enter the flexible currency awards market by adding transfer partners to their Arrival Plus and even possibly the Uber credit card. Now, I think this because after Capital One made adjustments to their venture card and added 12 airline partners, this really separated them from the Arrival card and the Capital One venture card. Now, you've always seen those cards going head-to-head and which one's better, and they're so similar in general. Now, I do think that if they were to do this, they're going to adjust those ridiculous, was it 1.7 to 1 and 1.4 to 1 ratio they had with that Arrival Premier, which were just flat out garbage rates, and the math was ridiculous. I think they're going to match what Capital One does as a 2 mile to 1.5 mile airline point as well. So, and I do think that we could see this on the Barclays Uber card. So when the Uber card was launched, Barclays had made the announcement that they were looking to potentially add transfer partners to the Uber card. Now, I think this is important because if you have the Uber card, you'll know that you earn points and not just a flat cash back. What you do is that you redeem your points for cash back. So I've personally been holding off on redeeming my Uber points to see if I can utilize these for airline transfer partners down the road. Now, prediction number 2, we're going to see basic economy awards expand, and American Airlines will finally introduce premium economy awards. So Delta is currently trialing this out with limited routes for basic economy, but there is no doubt in my mind that we're going to see them roll this out to everyone by the end of 2019. The way Delta works, it just makes sense for them. And I just see it happening. So once this happens, it always seems United somewhat follows suit right behind them. So I'm thinking United is going to be behind them and others are going to follow suit as well. So now talking about premium economy awards, both Delta and United more recently, now allow you to use your points or miles for premium economy awards. And we're seeing the premium economy cabins expand. First class is shrinking. Business class is kind of moving into where first class was. So it only makes sense that we're going to start seeing us being able to use those. So I'm hoping, and I think American Airlines is going to join in with the others and allow you to use your miles for premium economy. Now, I think this is actually a beneficial adjustment for people, because right now, if you were to look on Japan Airlines or even Cathay Pacific, they offer premium economy, but you can't use your American airline miles for premium economy awards yet. I think once they roll this change out, it's going to be a good intermediate for people who want to have a little bit more luxury and comfort on their flight and not have to worry about spending a lot of more miles for business class. So it could be a happy intermediate as well. So I'll be interested to see if that happens. Prediction number 3, Chase is going to restrict ultimate reward point pooling in some sort of capacity. Now, this was mentioned in a survey, I think late last year. And there have been rumors about this for a little bit now. I think there are even rumor changes of it, and then they pulled back on this. That now that Chase has really put all their cards under 524, I think this is kind of the next step to save Chase some more money. And, we're seeing them really clamp down, and it's pretty simple right now to move your points from your account to an authorized user, your spouse's account. And, it's a pretty great way for people to pull points and really maximize their earnings. And as Chase really looks to save money, I think they're going to either A, add limits to what you can pull and what you can pull. So let's say they might say you can pull 250,000 points with an authorized user per year. Some cards already have this. Some cards already offer this when you look at them. Or they're going to offer in some restriction the fact that you can't transfer from personal accounts to business accounts or vice versa, trying to keep those accounts separate, because we're seeing people, they offer in their business account, and then what they do is they move them to their personal account. So, or I think, and if they did this, it follows more of the American Express model, where you have your points, you can move them to an authorized user account. You can't combine them all the way, so you truly can't use all your points on a person because you have to transfer 1,000 point increments. I kind of see it coming this way. The other option is the way they can reduce the value from those freedoms or Freedom Unlimited is not having your points transfer at a 1-to-1 ratio from those fee-free cards to your higher-end cards. And what this does is it reduces the value from, if you have the reserve, you're not going to receive, like right now, if you have the reserve, it'd be 2.25% value when you have your Chase Freedom Unlimited and you move those points to the Chase Sapphire Reserve. By doing this, you might not get that same value out of those points, and either A, have you utilize their transfer partners, or you might receive suboptimal value versus a 2% cash back card. Prediction number 4, dynamic awards are going to expand. So I think right here, for many people, they might view this as a positive, and some of us actually might view this as a negative. So for many people, they just don't understand award charts or award travel in general. What they look for is they want something simple and easy, and they're not really necessarily worried about outsized value. I know some of us are worried about that, but some people just want the cheapest award ticket to get them from A to B, and they don't really care about receiving 8 cents per point. So I do think that we're going to see more airlines introduced award tickets based on the ticket price, kind of like what Southwest, JetBlue, or even what Delta has right now. And what this does is it kind of gives a more fixed value to your points, so you really can't receive that outsized value from airlines. Now, earlier this year, British Airways had mentioned that they were hoping to actually introduce this by the end of 2018. We're pretty much at the end of 2018 right now, and they have not introduced this. So I think that we could see this come around in 2019. Now, my hope is when they introduce this, they reduce those atrocious fuel surcharges, because it's absolutely garbage for anyone to use British Airways on long-haul flights. Their best use is for short-haul American Airlines or short-haul flights in general, intra-Europe or whatnot. Anything long-term, anything long-haul or going through London is absolute garbage. And also there's Aeroplan is going to be adjusting theirs as well. And by the wording of it, it looks like in 2020, it looks like they're going to be as well moving to a dynamic award chart. And Virgin Atlantic is also making some changes to their program in 2019. We don't really know what those are yet, but anytime a program makes changes to where you can use your points every day on any flight, typically means some sort of dynamic change. And if you've been keeping track of like a flight like airline like United, so when I search United awards, there's like the saver availability, and then there's also the ability to have like the everyday awards, which aren't necessarily the greatest of value, but for some people that's what they need. But if you look, they can actually offer different values in between those values. So what I've been noticing is that we're not seeing necessarily a whole lot of 30,000, we'll say to Europe, 30,000 saver availability. What we're seeing is more, you see some 30, you'll see some 35, some 42, 56, 1,000 point redemption. So it's somewhat of a mixed, dynamic, stable award chart. And I think that's what their kind of their intermediate is going to be. So I think we're going to see some of those as well. And prediction number 5, I think credit card bonuses are going to change. Now, when I say change, I don't think they're going to go away. Now, I think there's really 2 possibilities here, and I think we've seen more of these from the Chase cards, and that's one of them is rolling out a tiered bonus schedule. So for right now, you open up a credit card, you earn X number of points for sending X number of value in the first 3 months. You earn the points. If it's not a good card, you throw it in the sock drawer, and you never use the card again. But what they're doing now is that they want these bonus tiers are what they're trying to do is make you a reason to use those cards more. So what we're seeing Chase especially do, especially right now on, we'll say their Southwest cards, is you receive X number of points after spending so much money in the first 3 months, and then you'll receive an additional amount of points after spending so much and so much more time. So in a certain time frame, and we're seeing that right now on the Southwest cards, which makes it harder for people to earn the Southwest Companion Pass. Because if you look at the cards right now, it's a 60,000 point bonus, but you earn 40,000 points after spending, I think it's $3,000, $2,000 or $3,000 in the first 90 days, and then another 20,000 points after spending $10,000 more in the first year. So it makes it a little bit harder for some of you to earn that Southwest Companion Pass. Sorry. So, and for banks, this makes sense, right? Because the more we use the cards, the more money they make off interchange fees, and it's a big plus for them. So, and the other idea I think that we could potentially see is a smaller upfront bonus with more of a back-end bonus. And I think this comes in a couple forms, right? So right now we see this on cards like the World of Hyatt credit card, and even the Hilton Ascend credit card. You spend so much money, you receive a free night certificate each year when you spend, I think it's $15,000 on those cards. So, that's a great benefit for some people. That might actually give you more value than spending a 2% card than we see in general. So, so for some people, it's actually worth putting money on the Hilton Ascend card because of that free night certificate. Or we could see bonus offers shift to the back end. So this would be similar if you remember the Barclay Arrival Premier, which is an absolute failure of a card. And even some of the high-end cards like the United Mileage Plus Club card, what happens is that depending on your bonuses, the bonuses offered, or your travel goals, you could be compelled to use that card to earn extra points. So right now, what the Arrival Premier was, when you spent so much money, you receive bonus points on the back end year after year. And it's a great way to reward customers, but that card was just a complete, utter failure. But for someone who flies United and has this high-end United Mileage Plus Club card, you receive so many points after spending so much money. So for some people, it's actually worth it if they fly them a lot. So, I think that this is a great way because, one, it keeps you using the card, so it keeps the bank happy, and you're compelled to use the card because you get rewarded on the back end, which is fantastic for us. And while it might be a smaller upfront bonus, year after year, as this game kind of tightens up, it might not be necessarily so bad. Although I know we do love our upfront bonuses. So let me see if I have any questions here. Ever stayed in Rome on points tips? So I did actually stay in Rome. It was last October we went to Rome. We actually flew into Venice, spent a day in Venice, went to Florence, and then we went into Rome. So on points, depending on how you're flying or where you're flying to, Alitalia, which I know has some financial issues, they do fly Aaron there direct on quite a few routes. I would tend to look, if you're looking at Rome, Alitalia, which is you can use your You can book through via Flying Blue. You could even look on Delta as well. Or you can look at, depending on there's been some really cheap revenue flights to where you might want to redeem your points through the portal depending on the point currencies you have. I would definitely take a look at Google Flights first before even starting looking at the award bookings, because some of these tickets, I mean, on some of these carriers, like $400 round trip, to where utilizing 60,000 points to go there would be a terrible value plus taxes. So I would definitely start there first. But, Flying Blue is a good option if it's a super expensive flight. Depending on where you're flying from as well, you could utilize kind of like the United Excursionist perk and have a stopover in Rome and utilize a second stop as well. I think I did a video on that a couple weeks ago talking about how you can really maximize those perks as well. But I would definitely, I'd spend a couple days there. If you were also going there, I would consider taking the bus or even taking a tour trip out to Pompeii. Pompeii was a fantastic destination to see. There's a lot to do. You definitely won't be shot. You won't have any shortcomings and things to do there in Rome. Love Makes better than Chase. Let's see. Huge win. Let's see. My American Advantage Platinum is trash. Maybe I'm overlooking something. Waiting on that welcome offer. Aaron, I think on the American Express Platinum or the AA card, I don't think, for some people, they look at just American Airlines. The best value you're going to receive from these points is utilizing their partners, and their partners are really good, especially going to Asia on Cathay Pacific, Japan Airlines. They've even started rolling out those web fare specials on economy tickets, which some people might not really care about because they want premium economy or premium awards. But 5,000 miles one way over to Europe, I think that's really hard to beat for anyone to take a look at. So you just need to be flexible with them. I would definitely, they're starting to add more partners to their airline or to their website so you can book online. But I would definitely take a look at, British Airways to see if there's some availability. Qantas as well shows it. Yeah, Qantas shows it as well. But British Airways might be a little bit easier for people to take a look at as well, to kind of see that availability on partner airlines that doesn't necessarily show up on American Airlines. Let's see, Solid Good Fox, award availability. You just got to be flexible with it. I mean, I've had good availability when I've looked on American Airlines. I've never really had an issue, but I'm flexible on my awards. If you have specific dates, it would be very difficult, I think, in general. They have been harder on their business class tickets and awards. But, they are there. I mean, I was actually able to upgrade on the way back home in May back on American Airlines from coach to business class, and I flew on their 777. I thought it was a pretty comfortable ride as well. So it's there. You just got to be patient and kind of wait. One tip would be to book in coach if you're okay with that, and wait to see if the flight opens up business class tickets. Usually happens on some of the flights close into the departure date. Just a tip to everyone, book that ticket you want and potentially upgrade your flight to get that business class ticket you're looking for. Let's see. The United is the biggest culprit of those insane spend for that bonus. Yeah, I think Chase in general has really been harder on those and really pushing it because, like I said, it definitely makes it to where you use the card. They make more money on those interchange fees, and you're going to keep using that card. So it's a win for them, while it might not necessarily be a win for us. And really, I don't think Chase cares if it's a win for us because they're trying to recoup still some money from, I think, the Chase Sapphire Reserve. Since I have the Aspire, could I get the Ascend and upgrade to the Aspire and have 2 Aspire cards? I've seen people actually doing this, and I don't think there's any reason why not. You just might not get the bonus potentially in doing this, because when I was actually upgrading my wife, it did say on the welcome terms, you're not eligible for it, which is the first time I've seen this. You're not eligible for it if you have or have had this card in the bonus. So you might be able to do that. I would definitely take a closer look, Louise, at the terms and conditions of that upgrade to see if you're eligible for it. Some of these do have it to where you can get it, and other ways you might not be able to get it at all. The Ascend or Aspire, which is better? So, Kenneth, if you're someone who travels frequently on Hilton, I think having the Aspire and Diamond status and the airline credits and whatnot are great. I think for most people who travel a couple times a year, right now, Hilton Gold is probably the best mid-level status tier you're going to find. With that, you still get the breakfast as well as suite, as well as upgrades as well. So, I think for most people who travel a couple times a year and want a lower annual fee, I think the Ascend card is really the way to go. If you're someone who definitely travels more frequently, I think the Aspire is a no-brainer for many. Is really the no-brainer there. You get the lounge access. I do think that even though people like to look at the airline credit as reducing your annual fee, I think it's prepaying your own airline credit. So I don't necessarily see that as a benefit. Diamond status is a great benefit as well, but you do receive free breakfast and upgrades with gold status as well. I agree, Fenway Mark, I like the Aspire card myself. I'm going to keep it, especially for that $95 fee I just had on it. So there are perks and benefits to it in general. My preferred card is due for renewal. Should I upgrade to the reserve card? Well, I think, Kenneth, that really depends on what your goals are. If you have a card that already has premium benefits, you might want to evaluate that $450 fee on that card. Most people, if you just recently, if it's due for renewal and you haven't had the card for 4 years, you're not eligible for the bonus anyways. So I think I would take a look at what your upcoming travel goals are and where you're looking to go and how you can utilize the reserve to make that travel happen. If you're using a transfer partner or not using the Chase Travel Portal, well, then you might not actually need the reserve in that sense. If you have a card that gives you lounge access already, well, then you might not need the reserve. But if you don't have any cards like that in general, then it might be worth for you to do that. But I would say just take a look at your overall travel before upgrading it, because while it sounds great and you get those extra benefits for it, if you have cards that overlap, then I wouldn't necessarily think it's worth it. The gift, Fenway, that's a great point. The Ascend card gives you those 10 priority pass access, lounge access as well. And for that 95, I completely agree, Fenway Mark. I totally missed that one. That the 10 passes, you can use them all at once if you want. If you have the priority pass to your platinum card, reserve, or even any of these other premium cards, it's you plus 2 guests at no fee. This one here gives you 10 passes you can use all at once, or you can space them out over time. So that's the only mid-level hotel card that offers that. And I think that was a reason why I think I gave it the W in the cards compared to the Marriott as well as the Hyatt card. So, unless something huge happens in the points and miles world over the next couple of days, this will probably be my last live video of the year. So I just want to take a second and thank all of you for tuning in and supporting the channel. I started the channel back in February, and I might only have 1,500 subscribers right now, but the channel has definitely grown more than what I thought it would over the last 10 months. And I really sincerely just want to say thank you to all of you, especially those of you who are tuning in tonight to take a look at this. Let's see, Louise. If I buy a prepaid card with my goal to the grocery store to pay rent for plastic for rent, do you think I might get flagged by Amex for buying large? I would be very careful, Louise, on buying gift cards with your American Express cards, because the RAT team is definitely in full force looking at these things. If you're buying a gift card periodically, I think you're fine. But, I actually plan to do a video on different levels of credit reporting for different credit card companies. I think it's important for people to see what's reported to people. But American Express can, see those charges that you're making. And if you're buying large amounts, they're going to pull back those points that you're earning. So I would be very careful with that. I think a couple here and there is not a big deal, but, the large sums definitely draws flags. So sincerely, I just want to thank each and every one of you. On a personal note, in addition to having my first child who's being born in about a month, I'm really excited to see what 2019 has in store for the channel. Hoping to add some new content, hoping to have a few collaborations with some, different YouTubers out there in the points and miles world, talk credit cards, award programs, try to give you guys more value. So I am curious, tell me what your predictions are for 2019. Do you think we're going to see some great stuff? Would you see some more devaluations coming? I'm curious. Leave me a comment. Let me know. And, hey, everyone, I just want to thank you again for tuning this YouTube live and making 2018 a great year for this channel. If you like this video, consider giving it a thumbs up, or if you know somebody who might benefit from this video, feel free to share it with them. Remember, I post new videos every Thursday. So if you like learning about points, miles, cash back, or just flat out traveling for less, consider hitting the subscribe button down below. I will see you all tomorrow. And I hope each and every one of you has a great New Year's. And as always, safe travels and take care.